Joe Maddon and the Cubs are the talk of the National League. The Northsiders have the best record in all of baseball. Their mix of veterans and homegrown youth have a return to the postseason in the Cubs' sights. Tonight, the Cubs make a rare visit to the East Bay. The A's have had an up-and-down season, but since the break, Bob Melvin and the boys have been battling each and every game. It's an interleague collision. Cubs Athletics. Game 1 is next. It's good to be back at the Coliseum, and tonight the A's open up a 10-game homestand. It's interleague baseball with Jon Lester and the Chicago Cubs in town. Cubs are good. That's one of the new A's. It's Brett Eibner. He's in the lineup tonight. He's going to play right field. So it's the first of three. It's the A's and the Cubs coming up on CSN California. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Well, the Cubs are at the Coliseum for just the second time ever. And Ray, they arrive with the best record in baseball, and many people feel they're the most well-rounded team in baseball, and certainly the numbers back it up.
And you think they're thinking about the number 1908, the last time the Cubs won a world championship. Joe Maddon, his second year since leaving the Tampa Bay Rays. They have everything. They have the pitching, they have the hitting, they have the defense. They draw crowds in Chicago, and I think there's a lot of people in baseball who would like to see them win, especially the players playing for the Cubs. But they are an outstanding team, and it's got to be a great experience for the young players, the Athletics tonight and this weekend to be facing one of the best teams.
So the pitching matchup is Dylan Overton and Jon Lester. And Ray, if you're a young pitcher and you're looking for a little boost, Dylan Overton, he's got knocked around a little bit this year. How about squaring off with Jon Lester and pitching well?
Well, just look at the numbers. His fifth start for Overton, number 306 for Jon Lester. So, yes, I think in between innings, maybe Overton can be watching Jon Lester. If you take the total number 306, probably more starts one guy than the A's entire starting rotation, and I think we know that. But it's a great experience, I think, for Dylan Overton tonight. Picked up a win in his first Major League start. He had his hero, Albert Pujols, hit a home run. He is facing the Cubs tonight. Still a very good ball club.
All right, so the A's hoping to start this long homestand with a win against the team with the best record in all of Major League Baseball, the Chicago Cubs. We'll have lineups at first pitch when we come back to the Coliseum. It's the Oakland A's and the Chicago Cubs coming up on CSN California.
Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
So lineup cards being exchanged. Stephen Vogt doing the honors tonight. He knows all about the ground rules, so he doesn't really need to pay too much attention.
He knows about that area where he's standing, the home plate area, but.
So let's check the game time weather for tonight. It's brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 61 degrees, and it's nice and cool. Feels good.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that conversation, Stephen Vogt is not involved.
Nope.
Umpires are given all the ground rules, and since Voter knows them all, he doesn't have to listen. Yeah, good guy. Okay, got the lineup, got everything straight. See you later. I'll see you later part of the game.
So before we show you the lineups, let's look at some transactions made by the Athletics today. Brought up Brett Eibner. He's an outfielder, and he's in the lineup tonight. And Andrew Triggs is back. Is that 8?
Yeah.
His 8th time back with the A's.
He may be longer to say hello this time, though.
So Brett Eibner, we'll get our first look at him. And Andrew Triggs back to the bullpen. So those two gentlemen called up because Jesse Hahn and Jed Lowry were placed on the disabled list. So we're hoping that Jesse Hahn's okay. He's got a little shoulder strain, we are told. And for Jed Lowry, that foot has been bothering him for a while now, and he's going to rest it for a couple weeks.
That's a good idea because you're dealing with the foot problem, leg problems. You might as well take some time, and he's going to do it.
Here's the starting lineup for the Chicago Cubs. Dexter Fowler's in center field. Chris Bryant's in left. Anthony Rizzo's at first. Ben Zobrist hits cleanup. He plays second base. Then Addison Russell, Jorge Solar, Jason Hayward, Javier Baez, and David Ross. That's the lineup for the Chicago Cubs.
Dylan Overton, as we mentioned in our open, making his 5th start. He won his major league debut against the Angels down in Anaheim, but since then he has struggled a bit. Gave up 3 home runs in his last start at Cleveland. That was not a particularly great start for him, but as we have said, with the trade of Rich Hill, some of these youngsters maybe will be able to stay in the rotation, especially with Jesse Hahn going on the DL. That is not good news there because he had a chance to stay in the rotation as well. But Dylan Overton will start it tonight at home against the Chicago Cubs.
Let's look at the A's defense. It has Chris Davis in left, Jake Smolinski in center, and Brett Eibner is in right, making his A's debut. Brian Healy, Marcus Semien, Tyler Ladendorf, and Danny Valencia on the infield with Bruce Maxwell doing the catching. So that's the defense. As Overton finishing up his warm-up tosses. So the Cubs here at the Coliseum for just the 2nd time.
That is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, they were here a couple years ago. They were here in 2013.
But the problem up until recently is Joe Madden with his 2nd year with the Cubs after being with the Rays for so long as a manager, with the Angels as their bench coach. But Joe Madden, 3-time manager of the year. And for the Cubs at one time, there were 6 teams in the Central Division. That's why the A's never went to Milwaukee for something like 18 years. A's went to Wrigley, played the Cubs. So it's been a while. Should be an interesting, loud weekend of Cub fans here cheering for their North Siders.
So the first pitch of the game to Dexter Fowler is in for a strike. Fowler, the Cubs center fielder. He's a switch hitter.
709.
Hitting .289 with 8 home runs and 35 runs batted in. Look at that on-base percentage, 400. So he's in the right spot in the order. Umpires tonight, Mike Estabrook calls balls and strikes. Dana DeMuth is the crew chief. Ramon DeJesus is at second. Paul Emmel down at third. Fastball a bit high. 1-2 to Fowler. Chris Bryant to follow. And then Anthony Rizzo, the first 3 hitters in this Cubs lineup. A little bit off the plate.
That's some interesting numbers for Dexter Fowler as far as a team record. Whenever he gets on base 1 or 2 times or 3 times, and on base percentage you talked about, he has speed, ability to get on base, and when he does, they usually score and do quite well.
So far, the Cub fans are on the right side. Right field side. Looks like they are. All the blue down the right field side. Behind their dugout.
Payoff pitch is hit high in the air to left center field. It's hit well, and it's gone. 1-0 Cubs here in the first. So 9th home run of the year for Dexter Fowler.
And the 10th that Overton has given up just in 5 starts. 4 plus this one start tonight, or one batter tonight. Started out 0-2, got to 3-2, and there's the fastball that, talk about working the count, on base percentage, and you're able to fall behind 0-2. And the A's could not put him away. And as a result, 1-0 Cubs.
So here's Chris Bryant. Big power hitting left fielder, also plays a lot of third base for the Cubs. He was the Rookie of the Year last year in the National League. 26 home runs and 68 RBIs. Our Expo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. And the 0-2 pitch, a sharp breaking ball from Overton. Bryant strikes out.
Time now for the Nissan keys to the game, and not about Dylan Overton. And for him, key is to go deep, because a lot of pitchers used yesterday. Just 4 innings for Jesse Hahn in Anaheim yesterday. And welcome Brett Eibner as the young man. Think about Bob Millman. You show up, you better be prepared to play, because you're going to be in the lineup very quickly, and that's the case with Eibner tonight. There was talk, matter of fact, the skipper talked about him coming up sometime in the near future. Well, that future is right now.
First pitch strike to first baseman Anthony Rizzo. 288, 24 homers, 79 RBIs. Those look like maybe MVP candidate numbers.
He's also an outstanding fielding first baseman. He's got the complete package.
4th in the league in RBIs. 7th in the league in home runs.
You know, one thing too, Kipe, if you get a chance to play against left-handers, you're a left-handed hitter, you have a pretty good chance to have some good numbers.
Yeah, you'll figure it out if it's a struggle for you early on.
And we saw Brandon Moss when he was here, and same with Rizzo. He's going to play, and it really doesn't matter whether it's lefty or righty. And I think to some degree there's times that a left-handed pitcher faces so many right-handers that when that happens at say a lefty, then good things can happen for the hitter, and that's what Rizzo has done.
So struggled a little bit early, not anymore. Broken bat, shallow center. Smolinski's not going to get it. Smolinski playing very deep, and that one dropped in front of him.
Well, you go with a big swing on 3-2 and or 2-2, and shattered bat, center field, and that is a broken bat, big time. See, center fielder, and while he broke straight in, just had no chance with the ball dying quickly in front of him.
One out hit for Rizzo, and here's Ben Zobrist. Zobrist's first year in Chicago has been a good one. 277 is his average. 13 home runs and 54 runs batted in. Zobrist with 20 doubles, a triple. One foul just to our right. Zobrist more walks than strikeouts, so he's doing everything the Cubs thought he would do when they signed him to free agent contract, a 4-year deal.
Joe Madden knows him. He had him in Tampa. Made the All-Star team. Davey Martinez, his bench coach, to the right of Joe Madden. Martinez following Joe to Chicago after he was denied the opportunity to manage the Rays, interviewed there, but Kevin Cash. David Martinez, you figure will manage eventually. There's the bench coach, and there's Raymond, of course. Raymond always knows when we're talking about somebody because he's going to make sure he's in the photograph.
Zobrist hits one toward left. Chris Davis backs up. Rizzo hustles back. Thinks about tagging up. Stays at first. So that's the second out. And that'll bring up Addison Russell.
Batting in the 5th position, shortstop, number 27, Addison Russell.
Addison Russell. He was an all-star this year. 12 home runs, 65 RBIs, and a .241 average for the young shortstop.
A lot of compliments giving to Keith Lippman, Director of Player Development for the Athletics, in regards to Addison Russell. And one thing that was said, that he knew talent, knew how to develop talent, and Addison Russell has proven that development at the minor league level for the Athletics and what he's done for the Cubs. It's not often that you find a young shortstop playing on a Pennant contending team and does as well. So it's quite a compliment to Keith. He's done a great job developing players, and this is one of them.
Yeah, and he's got a base hit to left field. So third hit in the inning for the Cubs.
Well, the fastball after falling behind, low fastball, and Russell just dropped the head of the bat on it. Yeah, you play for the Cubs, and you're playing in front of a sellout crowd every game, a very boisterous crowd that they want to win. They love their baseball. They sell out when they're losing. That's great experience for a young player. And Addison Russell has turned out to be a very good one.
Here's Jorge Soler, who was just activated from the disabled list. Big, strong right-handed hitter. Lots of young talent on this Cubs team. Soler is one of those guys, just 24 years old. From Havana, Cuba. Strike, and it's 1-1. In 2012, it's interesting. Remember, he's from Cuba. 2012, Ray signed a 9-year contract. And it was a major league deal. Now so he's getting paid pretty good in the minor leagues for the first couple years.
Buy a lot of dinners for the boys.
Yeah, that's right.
Between he and Baez, a couple of youngsters who, Baez, of course, playing third base. Soler is the DH tonight, just coming back. But they've got some young talent, and they've been able to develop the young talent.
And that one is ripped to left. That's trouble. 3-run homer, Jorge Soler, and it's 4-0 Cubs, and we're not out of the first inning. So just a line drive that just got over the wall in left field.
You can see why he got a 9-year contract. Wow.
He is a big,
powerful young man, and wow. It's a big, long swing with a lot of power behind it. And for John Lester, who is tough even if it's a scoreless game. Now he's got a 4 spot before he takes the mound.
So 6th home run of the year for Soler. And here's Jason Hayward. Hayward hitting in the 7th spot. Hayward signing that huge free agent contract to come to the Cubs. And he has struggled in his first year in Chicago. It was an 8-year deal for $184 million.
A couple of opt-outs in there too, right?
I think there is.
Yeah, I think there's 2 opt-outs, not just 1 but 2.
There's a shot just foul. Valencia dove for it, but it was foul.
How did Dana DeMuth see it? This ball was a bullet. Hit very hard, and DeMuth, the first base umpire, almost got hit by it. And of course, the ball landed in foul territory. It means nothing. To be honest, I don't see how it got to where it was in foul territory, about 6 to 8 inches, not going over the bag.
Pitch. Hayward chased it. He strikes out. Damage done early by the Cubs. They hit a couple of home runs. So it's 4-0 Chicago after half an inning. So the A's a little work to do, and here's their lineup. Starts with Marcus Semien, then Jake Smolinski, Danny Valencia, Chris Davis. 8 home runs since the All-Star break for Davis, followed by Butler, Healy, Eibner, Ladendorf, and Maxwell.
John Lester, a huge contract. Talked about the Hayward contract. Well, for the 2015 season, John Lester got his after leaving the A's, a free agent. John Lester, 11 wins for the Cubs in his second season. And a decent hitter, as he had a walk-off bunt in the Sunday night game just recently. John Lester, a pitcher who is in the National League for the first time after being with the Red Sox. Pitched a no-hitter there, pitched well. And right now, a Cub.
And his first pitch is a ball to Marcus Semien. Semien at 232, 22 homers, 52 RBIs. Swing and a miss. So Lester looking for his 12th win of the year. Having a very nice season. For Lester, it's the second year of the 6-year contract that he signed with the Cubs. He was a free agent. A lot of teams went after him. I think you could certainly see why John Lester picked the Cubs. Yeah. He knew that there's a lot of talent. Get the Cubs a World Series championship.
I just wonder what he's going to do when David Ross retires. Ross is
his guy, right?
Yeah, he's his catcher. And time John Lester pitches, basically he is behind the plate.
Outside last year, Lester in his first year in Chicago was 11-12. ERA of 3.34. 205 innings, 207 strikeouts. Made all of his starts, so pitched well. Not a great record, but pitched well. And a 3-2 pitch. Semien went after it. So 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Cubs defense has Bryant, Fowler, and Hayward in the outfield. Baez, Russell, Zobrist, Rizzo on the infield, and Ross is the catcher.
Marcus Semien swung at a pitch out of the strike zone, and there's Really one of the differences there, and you get a chance to get back, get on base, and John Lester not opposed to changing speeds, even 3-2, and he's up 4 runs.
Smolinski at 297. Jake was 2 for 7 in that series down in Anaheim.
Sure, Jake's got a few people watching from back in Illinois, Rockford, Illinois, where he grew up. Tyler Ladendorf also in the Chicago area, so a couple of players in the lineup tonight. Probably thrilled to be playing against a team they probably grew up watching.
Close pitch, 1-2. Rockford, huh?
Yep, Rockford, Illinois. High school quarterback. It's good.
That's not far from where I grew up. Rockford. It's about an hour.
Yeah.
Got to sneak over the border, though. It's a big deal for a Wisconsin guy to sneak over into Illinois. They don't like that. Coming in is Hayward, and he dives. He makes a very nice catch. Jason Hayward, a terrific right fielder. Got plenty of gold to show for it.
It looked like a base hit. Good job of hitting by Smolinski. Ball sinking quickly, but incoming was Hayward, and that's a great play. Backhanded the ball as he went down on the slide. And of course, the confidence he has winning the Gold Gloves that he could make that play and not worry about missing it, because if he did, it goes to the wall, but it's an out, and a big out. So whatever he might not be doing with the bat, he's definitely making up for it defensively.
Valencia, who takes way outside. Valencia at 303, 14 home runs, 39 RBIs. Valencia has handled left-handers extremely well this year. He's hitting .370 against lefties, .278 against righties. Fair amount of at-bats against John Lester in his career. 6 for 20.
He will nail that outside part of the plate. John Lester wore number 31, but just got him Fergie Jenkins at wore 31. I think that number's put away. So he goes to 34. Another pretty good right-handed pitcher. Struck out a lot of batters. Carrie
You must
Underwood.
be talking about
Kerry Wood. It's not Underwood. Kerry Wood. I don't think it really mattered for John Lester. He said, just give me a number. Signed a huge contract. Great pitcher, and he's got 6 years to pitch for the Cubs. Get them to try to win.
Looks like the cutter right there, right?
Yeah,
Huh?
he's got a
89
great
miles an
cutter.
hour.
He threw it to Semien to strike him out. He was out of the strike zone. You see the rotation. So while he is not nailing the outside corner yet, the cutter he will throw anytime. Goes with his catcher Ross.
It's a great pitch for him. A little bit low, no. Strike 3 call. Valencia can't believe it. So he's going to chat with Mike Estabrook.
Wow.
It looked quite low, but it ends up being a strikeout. 4-0 after 1. California is brought to you by AAA. Get a free A's cap with a new AAA membership. Visit a participating AAA branch by August 30th. Restrictions apply. 4-0 Cubs, second inning. Danny Valencia still not happy, and I think he's got a legitimate beef.
Oh, big time.
Strike three call was. We thought it looked low, and the replay said it was low.
But
Watch it. Watch the front knee. Watch the front knee.
Front knee, and watch Ross catch the ball. I mean, Ross.
That's a bad call.
That's a horrible call. That's really horrible. And as I always say, Matt Weiss does a great job with the umpires rooms. Give him the DVD. Take it home and look at it, Mr. Estabrook, and see if you think that was a strike. And if you did.
1-1 to Javier Baez, the third baseman.
You look in the inning that Lester pitched. Simeon swung a ball 4. Diving catch by Hayward. And a strike called on the pitch, Shanghai. It's a pretty good inning.
A reach for, popped up. Maxwell can't find it, and it's right next to him. Well, Valencia hustled in as best he could. I mean, he was busting his tail to get there. He just could not quite get there. Maxwell never saw it.
And Danny Valencia was telling Overton to help him. He's going after it, just continued it and started a little bit late. Worst feeling in the world for a catcher. And you know, sometimes you drop your head a little bit, you don't see it, but.
And then it's roped to Smolinski. It looked like it had a little knuckleball action to it, but Smolinski grabs it and hard hit out. So 1 away, and here's David Ross.
Batting in the ninth position and catching, number 3, David Ross.
Ross, the catcher, at 231. 7 homers, 25 RBIs. Ross, 39 years old. Been around a long time. As Ray said, kind of John Lester's personal catcher.
Okay, check out his left forearm. You see that? That's not a pad. There's your quarterback's lifted up, and he's got all the information on that. I saw it watching the game on Sunday. Guy came in, he flipped it over, looked at it, put it back. I asked Chris Bosio, the pitching coach, and he says, well, it's just kind of our you know, we've got our little plan. But you see more and more guys with shifts and the way guys are playing. We saw guys in the outfield taking the cheat sheet out of the back pocket. He's got it on his forearm. He doesn't care.
Davis has it. Well, maybe just the simple fact that there's so much more information now. Maybe you want to have a little bit more literally with you when you go out to the field.
Well, and you see outfielders, and you're probably going to get to that point if you have shifts and how you want to position guys. And I mean, they've gone so far as put lasers and pointing out in the outfield, putting golf tees in the outfield, and doing different things to try to show where straightaway is and moving around. So it's a matter of the information is there. And certain guys try to do different things to help themselves.
First pitch to Fowler. Gets jammed and loops one foul. Fowler homered, leading off the ball game. He fell behind 0-2, and then it went to 3-2, and then he homered.
Dylan Overton, a good first pitch curveball, and got it in there. So once again, now they got to put him away. Threw it 0-2 strike curveball to Bryant for strike 3. Let's go right after him.
That one is ripped to left, and that's a base hit.
Uh, 0-2 to 3-2 to hit off home run. Fastball. Now the thing is, again, it's something that a pitcher can learn. So John Lester throw a cutter 3-2 to Simeon. He took it off about 88. And you can see Fowler just lift the front leg, even 3-2. He said, I'm going to get a fastball and I'm going to swing and I'm going to hit it, and he hit it hard. So just a little variation of the velocity can take that stride and that aggressiveness from a hitter and take it away. And Lester did it to Simeon. Dylan Overton, good pitch there, took a little bit off of that one. But these are things that guys can learn. I mean, if he's made, what, 306 start we're talking about, and Dylan Overton is 5th. He can sit in the dugout. Overton can watch him. He's a lefty, another lefty, and he can learn from him of how to pitch. And because Lester has had a lot of success. And who better to watch than somebody like that, especially since he is lefty also.
What's great about John Lester is he pitches the same way now as he did 7-8 years ago.
Right.
He really has not changed, but maybe doesn't throw quite as hard, but he was never a real hard thrower. It's the same stuff.
You're left-handed, you pitch a no-hitter in Boston, Fenway Park, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
And he did that. He's got that on his resume, and a big-time pitcher, and that's the reason the Cubs wanted to sign him.
1-2 to Chris Bryant.
Had a chance to see him briefly, and of course the day guys pitch, they don't want to talk too much. I didn't want to impose on him, but he was in the minor leagues in 2007 when the Red Sox won, or 2004 when they won their first World Series. Then he was there in 07. And I said, well, he just missed it. He said, but I was in the minor leagues. I got to experience, the whole organization did, since they had not won since 1918. And then they won in 7 and 13, so he experienced the 7 year and 13. Came over to the A's for Yoenis Cespedes.
So 2-2 the count to Bryant. Bryant rolls it foul. Lots of power. He will strike out. He struck out 111 times this year. Any more than makes up for it. The home runs and RBIs.
The Cubs and the A's played a 2-game series in Las Vegas, and did the radio game, and Bryant from the Las Vegas area, he crushed some balls, but they looked like fly balls. Then next thing you know, they're home runs. And he didn't even start the game. Came in latter part and just crushed balls, and of course excited everybody there. Cubs excite a lot of people.
Was that last year?
Yeah.
When he stayed in the minor leagues for what, a couple weeks, or maybe even less than that.
I think all players have to do is look at Evan Longoria. They thought about that, and they brought him up, and he's their franchise player. And Bryant's got a chance also. He's going to more than May. I mean, they'll try to lock him up before free agency even comes close.
Yeah, this would be the kind of guy you lock up. Chris Bryant. He's already locked up. Anthony Rizzo's got a long-term contract.
Look at the guys that do it. Starting pitcher, you got Rizzo, Zobrist, free agent.
Well, he dives off his glove. Fowler is going to try for third, and Davis doesn't throw it to third, flips it back into second. And a 2-out rally for the Cubs.
But it's a good move by Chris Davis, because the aggressiveness of Fowler, give him credit, because Fowler's an outfielder. He probably knows also that with 2 outs, you want to keep at least the force in order. He throws to third. Bryant had rounded first, and he came up like he's going to throw and then changed his mind, because Bryant had rounded first. He would have coasted into second had the throw gone to third, and it's second and third. And
now batting, number 44.
Getting back, and everybody's backing up, but
Rizzo.
I mean, Fowler's aggressive. Really, it's almost like he was trying to get Davis to throw, knowing that it wasn't going to get him, and then have the runner get him to second.
So here's Rizzo. Overton has now allowed 6 hits so far. Tough out here in Rizzo, who singled and scored in the first inning. 47 pitches for Overton. Missed again. No, strike call. I got to be more patient, right? Help me out, Ray. Tell me I got to be more patient.
Well, listen.
Yeah, that's a closer one than Valencia.
I think after the one to Valencia, we better just let the guys on that little box up in the left corner there, let them decide.
Patience. Gosh. Nice block by Maxwell.
Well, breaking ball, this is good movement by Maxwell. That's where you should go after a ball. Go to your left. He caught it, try to block it, and that's why Fowler wanted to get to third. So a ball like that, if it gets by Maxwell, he could score.
Outside corner, 2-2. Rizzo with his 79 RBIs. That's again 4th in the National League. So full count, that will get Chris Bryant on the move. Hitting .336 with runners in scoring position.
That stance that he has is similar to Jim Thome, who we saw last Saturday, inducted in Cleveland's Hall of Fame. The open stance where he is open already. Slightly closed as the ball approaches him.
Fastball fouled straight back.
Something Charlie Manuel taught Jim Thome. And comparable hitters in Rizzo and Thome. So that's the front foot. A lot of guys would do that. A little timing mechanism. There's the open stance. Great shot from the high home camera. He does close it though as the pitch is approaching, and then taps the front foot.
Fouls that one back. Rizzo, he'll be 27 years old next week, so he's a youngster. His contract, he did get one of those extensions, Ray. He's got a contract through 2019 with club options for 20 and 21. The Cubs got to him and said, we're going to keep you around. In the air, foul territory. Healy hustling over, and Healy bangs into the tarp. Let's hope he's okay. He ran into it pretty hard.
Well, with all the foul territory, he sprinted as soon as the ball left the bat of Rizzo. Seen him sprint, head down, and then looked up to catch where the ball was and forgot that the tarp was there. Watch the knees. Oof.
Clank.
Yeah.
So another 3-2. Bryant takes off. It's rolled foul. In off the plate. Guys like Rizzo, probably he's got a good eye. Maybe they think, hey, runners out there, I may expand my strike zone just a little bit. This one in the air, shallow right, hustling in is Eibner. Eibner waits, he's got it. Side retired. So a couple of hits, both are stranded. 4-0 Cubs after an inning and a half.
And join us for the 4th annual A's Bowling Bash presented by Chevron, Gerton Fixed Income Management, Independent Electric Supply, Lagunitas Brewing Company, Sharp Investments, and Crystal Clear Imaging will be at the Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl. That should be a lot of fun. Proceeds for this private fundraiser benefit the A's Community Fund. Italian Heritage Night.
Yeah.
Italian Heritage Night. What a beautiful cap that is.
I like that. Davis, Butler, and Healy against John Lester. Lester, a couple of strikeouts in the first inning. Davis 2 for 8 in his career against Lester. Grounded fair, backhanded by Baez. It pops off his glove and he'll hold on to it.
He's guarded the line. That's surprising.
Right
yeah. Came up with it, just clanked it when it hit his glove. See where he's playing, and then a couple of steps to his right. Went into the slide, maybe unnecessarily. Maybe that's what cost him because he had to go back to it. It is a fair ball, but hit him hard in the heel of the glove and bounced straight down to where he couldn't make a play. Base hit for Chris Davis.
So here's Butler. Lester in the stretch. Chris Davis runs. Ross's throw is in time, and they got him. So Davis is thrown out trying to steal.
Well, you can see how quickly Ross gets rid of the ball. Huge lead by Chris Davis, and head down, running, and a bounce and a quick tag by the second baseman Zobrist on a swipe tag. He put his foot down.
Well, it's fairly well known now that John Lester does not like to throw to first base.
Right.
And it's an issue. And he has managed to pull it off in his career. But he just doesn't like to do it, and he has trouble doing it.
Well, you can see that it's not normal to get the kind of lead that Chris Davis got.
Exactly.
But look at that lead.
That's a huge lead.
Because he knows he's not, so don't even look back. I mean, that's got to be a straight steal. It looked like he started slide feet first, and then he changed his direction.
And listen, it's not a secret anymore. Everybody knows it. And I saw the lead, and he got a decent job. I was surprised he got thrown out. Ross made a nice throw, but you have a lead. That lead is probably 2 steps bigger than a normal lead.
Exactly. If
and
there's
he
any
still,
thought,
for some reason, got thrown out.
Well, it was the quick release by Ross. Of course, he pointed to Zobrist, his second baseman, appreciated the fact that he made the pick at second. And, you know, in that situation, you're simply saying, I'm going to get rid of it as quickly as I can and get it down there. It's not going to be a perfect throw, because if you tried to make a perfect throw, you're not going to throw anybody out.
But it was a quick release.
It was, and that's what you have to do. And just watch him from behind the plate. Catches, and he's already moving as soon as the ball came in. I mean, he saw Davis moving. The only problem that if you're running, don't look back. You know, because if you have that kind of a jump, you know, it's the old saying about when you turn your head, you're slowing yourself down. It's not necessary.
So that's out number 2. So we'll see if, as this game goes on, even though the A's are trailing 4-0, if they try to take advantage of it. And certainly Davis tried. He just was not successful.
But I'm sure when they had their scouting, their advanced meeting, they're talking about when you get on base, just do it. And really, there's nothing wrong if you think you can steal, and I don't think it really will shut it down.
I don't think you can. I mean, you have to try to do that against him. First pitch to Healy is in first strike. We've talked about it with Lester. You're almost surprised that more players don't try to take advantage of it.
It's funny, all the years he pitched at Boston, never knew it until he came to the A's.
Didn't know about it. I never knew about it.
Nobody. Yeah. because he just didn't think about it. And
it's like the greatest kept secret ever.
And I remember when he was here, he said he was working in between starts throwing to first base. I said, why? Well, found out in the play-it game.
See, that insider stuff from you. But I had never heard about it when he was with the Red Sox either.
The thing about it, and I asked Darren Bush about it, the A's hitting coach, and he uses the slide step. We talked about Manaea, who's a young pitcher, and he has a very, very good slide step that allows him to get the ball to the plate quickly, but also doesn't lose a lot on his pitches. And it's the same with Lester. He had a little bit of a higher leg kick when Davis attempted to steal, but his quickness to the plate really helps out. There's Manaea. I wouldn't be sitting there if I were him. There's all those guys on the disabled list. Is that Graveman with a hoodie on? No, he's in the middle, so he's okay. Doolittle, Graveman, Jesse Hahn just went on the DL.
Healy swings and misses, side retired. So a hit, caught stealing. Inning ends with a strikeout. 4-0 Cubs after 2. By First 5 California. Talk, read, sing. It changes everything. Cubs lead 4-0, top of the 3rd. Overton delivers to Ben Zobrist to 1 out. Zobrist hit a fly ball to left field in the first inning. Cubs come in with a 66-41 record. That's the best record in the major leagues. They've won 4 in a row. They've won 7 out of 8. They got off to a sensational start. I mean, they were just rolling over people. They started the season 25-6. Now with a 9-game lead over the Cardinals, 12-game lead over the Pirates. So they're in a pretty good spot. Off the glove of Healy down the third base line. Davis hustling over to pick it up. Zobrist will get into second and he'll have a double. What a hard hit ball. Healy went for the backhand, could not come up with it.
Well, he did the right thing as far as just reaching to his right, just missed it, and it stayed in that position as the ball got by.
Now batting, number 27.
Ball came up, he came up with it, and it's a double for Zobrist.
So hit number 7, and here's Addison Russell. Russell singled and scored in the second inning. So the Cubs and their record in even the teams with a great record like the Cubs, they had a stretch not that long ago where they struggled, which is hard to believe when you watch them play.
And they didn't stay at pat at all at the trading deadline either.
No.
Getting Aroldis Chapman, Joe Smith from the Angels.
From June 20th through July 9th, the Cubs actually lost 15 out of 20.
But you start the season 19 over 500.
You're good.
Yeah, you can. We talked about the Rangers doing that. The Indians have done it. Teams get the big lead. They can afford to have a bad spell because they're going to pick it up anyway.
Russell hit with the pitch. So 2 on and nobody out here in the third.
That curve ball to the back foot.
Now batting, number 68.
See that a lot with that kind of a curve ball, lefty to righty.
Here's Jorge Solar, who hit a 3-run homer in the first. The Solar home run hurt. Obviously a 3-run homer, but it also came with 2 outs. He had a chance to get out of that first inning with just a 1-0 deficit. So home run number 6 for Solar. That went down the right field line and foul. And Solar just brought back from the disabled list today.
Perfect timing, huh?
Yeah. In fact, they brought him back from the disabled list and they sent Joe Nathan out, designated for assignment. So they signed Joe Nathan knowing that he would not be ready to start the season, but he did get back.
Right.
But as you said, they made some additions to that bullpen, and there really was no room for Joe Nathan. Who else did they get? Oh, they got the left-hander from the Mariners, Mike Montgomery.
Montgomery got Scope also.
So
Scope is not a big pitcher, but yeah, they've made a lot of moves.
Yeah.
And I've seen the new president. Of course, you know, those teams that get close and they know if they can just get to October, then they want to have the players to be able to do it.
So 2-2 the count. But the big acquisition was Aroldis Chapman. Most people wanted. Very few could afford as far as prospects go. Cubs got a talent in their minor league system. That one ripped foul, so they made the deal to get the hard-throwing left-hander. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile, and that is, of course, Aroldis Chapman with the Reds, and then just a little bit of time with the Yankees, but he was very good. And now with the Cubs. 4 players went from Chicago back to New York for Chapman, and so it's an expensive rental, but one the Cubs probably had to make, a deal they probably had to make. Healy has it, throws to second out there, and the throw to first actually hits the runner. And both runner and fielder Tyler Ladendorf shaking their hands. So as Ladendorf went to throw, his motion hit Russell, the runner.
And Russell slid a little bit late and then popped up, and that's when Ladendorf, who has that underneath kind of a submarine style throw, he does not come over the top, so when he goes under, as he pops up, he gets him in the back by the number. And I guess the follow through by Ladendorf right there actually did not look like Ladendorf hit him. It just hit him with the ball, but evidently the thumb.
Yeah, the ball clearly hit Russell. Let's see if Ladendorf's fingers hit some part of Russell. Oh yeah, right in the elbow.
Right in the elbow, yeah. As he followed through, I thought he missed him completely, but he didn't.
So Russell seems to be okay, but they're checking on Ladner.
Yeah, no toss, not much Healy could do, and I don't know there was going to be a chance to get a double play anyway, but the throw, I mean, Russell's got to be happy he turned his head, because he's going right and he turned and got him on the backside. Otherwise, that's when Ladendorf followed through and got it.
Rib shot. Yeah. So there'll be runners at first and third, 1 out.
Now batting, number 22, Jason Hayward.
And it'll be Jason Hayward. Hayward struck out swinging to end the first inning. First pitch to Hayward is the low strike. Seems like Hayward's been around forever. He's still just 26 years old. Went to the big leagues with the Braves in 2010, and then 1 year in St. Louis last year.
And you can understand why players say, geez, I just want to get to free agency, see what it's like. Get out on the open market just to see who might want me.
Jason Hayward found out that the Cubs really want him. And he rips one to left center field, and that's a base hit. Zobrist trots in to score. It's 5-0 Cubs here in the third. Good job of hitting there by Hayward.
Pitch outside, he decided to go with it instead of opening up too much, and a little top hand shot into left field, and a little bit of a shift, although Simeon might have been playing just close enough to second for a possible double play.
I bet the Cubs were glad to see that. It's good at bat by Hayward. Still only 1 out. Here's Javier Baez. Baez takes a touch outside. Eleven home runs for Baez. Maxwell chases after it, but he's going to get to it. But not before Solar and Hayward move up. It'll be a wild pitch.
Now you just got to go on first move, and once the ball hits the ground, they took off, and as it turned out, the ball hit hard and bounced towards third base, and at that point, no chance for anybody to be thrown out.
So the infield comes in for the Athletics. And that is drilled toward Davis, and it's over his head. One hops the wall. 2 runs will score, and it'll be a double for Baez. 7-0 Cubs.
Wow. They're not missing many. Matter of fact, they haven't missed it. Hard hit ball, 2-0 pitch right there. Just a huge swing by Baez, and it's so hard it hooked away from Chris Davis.
Baez gets RBIs 41 and 42.
It's that guy named Triggs getting loose in the A's bullpen.
He's back.
Don't throw too much, it'd be number 9. He's done a remarkable job. Kurt Young walking out. Triggs sent out as Jesse Hahn was activated. Then Triggs brought back when Hahn went on the disabled list. And that's the only way you can go down fewer than 10 days if you are optioned to the minor leagues. If a player goes to the disabled list, you can bring somebody back, and that's what happened.
It was a shoulder strain, right shoulder strain for Jesse Hahn. So here's David Ross. Ross hit a fly ball to left in the second inning. Blocked nicely by Maxwell. 76 pitches for Overton. Nothing's been easy. Ross chased a bad ball there, 1-1. Did David Ross say he was retired?
Yeah.
He did make that official.
Yeah, I think they talked about it in spring training. Guys would call him Grandpa. It's not good.
He's got a little grayness in the beard.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Some guys would never let that happen. So if you know, and again, David Ortiz talked about retiring also, and he's got better numbers than anybody. But Ross kind of indicated that he was going to.
Change up there by Overton. Ross strikes out. So that's out number 2.
Started with a changeup, stayed the changeup, and got Ross swinging and missing.
Now batting, number 24, Dexter Fowler.
So here's the top of the order, Dexter Fowler. Speaking of retirement, Mark Teixeira announced today that at the end of this year he will be retiring. So we wish Teixeira the best of luck. He got past the 400 career home run mark. Yeah. He's got 404. He's not retiring right now. He's retiring at the end of the year.
But his numbers this year just have not been that great, and
terrific career.
And free agent after this year, so I think he, instead of trying to hang on to go someplace else, he has had a great career. Saw him in Texas when he was a third baseman and hit his first home run.
To pitch to Fowler, blocked. And you look at a career like Mark Teixeira, he's really done everything. He won a World Series, did that with the Yankees in 2009. The numbers are there, obviously, with the home runs. You've got to play in New York, which is, I think, a big thrill for most people. Play for the Yankees. Not a whole lot more to accomplish. Been watching his press conference today. Sounds like he's got 3 younger children. Probably picking a good time.
He's one contract with the Yankees more than take care of him for the rest of his life.
I would hope so. Yeah.
And those kids and their kids, and so I mean, it's big contracts today, and the multi-year deals and huge contracts for somebody of his quality. And he's a great first baseman, power hitter, exactly what you wanted in Yankee Stadium.
Davis hustling in, Simeon out. Chris Davis will get there. He's got it, and that will do it. So 3 runs for the Cubs. It's now 7-0 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Bottom of the third. Italian Heritage Night at the ballpark. You see the good-looking green A's hats.
You got Italian gentleman doing the PA announcing. Tradition here is Dick Callahan turned the microphone over, and you have to speak Italiano to be able to understand who the hitter is. And
I'm out.
I am too.
So here's Brett Eibner, his first at bat as an Athletic. He has been in the big leagues this year with the Royals for 26 games. He is the gentleman that the A's acquired for Billy Burns, Brett Eibner.
And see, this isn't fair. Eibner's taken his first at bat tonight. Dexter Fowler's already hit 3 times.
That's not good. Eibner is from Jupiter, Florida. Lives in Jupiter, Florida, I should say.
Well, Lester, good change up, and Eibner out in front.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. So that is strikeout number 4. Hey, Sunday, John Lester, 12th inning. What Ray's talking about. Lays down a suicide squeeze. I believe there were 2 strikes when he did it.
Yes, there were 2 strikes, and it was Hayward who had doubled with the 3rd, and John Lester, Jim Shays, who does the color. I found out. I asked Lester what was the white stuff. He said baby powder. And he said it just crushed me.
Yeah, he didn't look that happy.
No,
about
and then they had to pour a couple of bottles of water over him to get
powder.
Baby powder.
His face.
And you could injure somebody, you know. But you know the thing that Shays had said earlier, that Joe Madden likes to let his pitchers hit. And Madden actually said it today. He says, "What's the batting average of a hitter with 2 strikes?" It's usually very low, right?
It's under 200.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So he said, "What's the difference in a pitcher?" So he said pitchers usually can bunt. So Shays actually said it perfectly. He said he lets him swing at a couple of batters and a couple of pitches. If he doesn't get the job done, what's the sacrifice? In this case, it was a bunt that won the game. And that game, it was Mariners had a 6-0 lead.
Yeah.
And all the players were used, National League Park. So you had pitchers hitting. And in the case of Lester, he was pinch hitting. He was not in the rotation that night. And great bunt with 2 strikes and a breaking ball, and laid it down perfectly. So a walk-off bunt.
And they also, Mariners also had a 6-3 lead in the 9th inning. And Cishek, wild pitch.
Yeah, he threw a wild pitch so far and went in the Cubs dugout, it seemed like it so far.
I think the wild pitch was with 2 outs.
It was, yeah.
So that was one of those. If you're the Mariners, you walk away, go, I have no idea how we just lost that game. If you're the Cubs, you're thinking this is our year.
Felix Hernandez on the mound, coming back, as you described, with his injuries back, and he had a 6-0 lead. See, if a pitcher has a 6-0 lead, stay in the game.
That's true.
But that does not happen these days. Looks like Dylan Overton is finished as Andrew Triggs is getting ready to come in the game.
Maxwell hit that right off the end of the bat.
And in Houston, it was Triggs who came in relief of Jesse Hahn, who threw just 2/3 of an inning. And Triggs went 4+ and was sent back to the minor leagues after saving the bullpen in that game. He's had a few guys, one named Sean Manaea, who came in relief when Rich Hill's blister opened up.
Bryant back over, makes the catch. So a well hit ball by Maxwell, but Bryant makes the play. 7-0 Cubs after 3.
One returns to the Coliseum. That'll be Saturday, August the 13th. Fans can meet Star Wars costume fan groups during the game, and everyone in attendance will enjoy post-game fireworks so big and bright, it's sure to awaken the Force. Special ticket package includes a Stormtrooper beanie. Tickets now at athletics.com/Star Wars. That will be coming up soon, a week from tomorrow night, here at the Coliseum.
So a tough night for Dylan Overton. He is gone after 3 innings and 84 pitches, 9 hits, 7 runs. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So it's Andrew Triggs for appearance number 17. We'll face Bryant, Rizzo, and Zobrist. 3 in the first. 4 in the first, 3 in the third for the Cubs. Bryant lays that bat on his shoulder. You see some hitters do that.
He's got a little crouch too, and when he unleashes, that's why he's hit so many home runs, so much power.
At that slider, but Bryant strikes out for the second time.
Well, that's a sweeping chase slider so far.
Now batting,
almost got past
number
Maxwell,
44,
but just kept running, and
Rizzo.
I think Bryant knew it as soon as there. I mean, that's where you see a hitter would pick up the spin and realize that that kind of a spin, it's not going to be in the strike zone. But young player, and like I said, he's going to strike out a few times, but bottom line, when he makes contact, it can fly. That scoreboard and new scoreboard at Wrigley Field is in danger with him hitting.
It is.
Bryant turned around a Chris Sale fastball in the All-Star game too down in San Diego. Swung on, gone. Good young players, and they've got a mixture of veterans. They've got the young players. Looked at the standing and saw that Cubs, Cardinals, and Pirates, all 3 of those teams were in postseason last year.
That's right.
1 division winner, 2 wild cards.
I was looking at last year. Cubs had the 3rd best record in all of baseball.
Yeah.
They were the 2nd wild
How about
card.
that?
Didn't slow them down though. They went on the road and won the wild card game at Pittsburgh. They had it nicely set up for Jake Arrieta to throw. They won the division series over the Cardinals 3-1, but could not stop the Mets. The Mets swept them in the NLCS on their way to the World Series. So the Cubs got close to the World Series last year, but Daniel Murphy.
I was going to say, a guy named Murphy at second base did him in. Until the World Series, he did everybody in. Yeah, he's with the Nationals, trying to help them.
2-2 pitch and a swing and a miss by Anthony Rizzo.
A different look. That ball running away from Rizzo. So Andrew Triggs, a slider away from the right-handed Bryant. This ball runs away from Rizzo. Couldn't reach it. And Zobrist right behind him, shadowing him as a left-handed hitter. But Rizzo went after a pitch that might have been off the plate, but looked good as it approached.
Ben Zobrist. The Cubs record last year was 97-65.
Wow. Had to be a lot of hopes for the Cubs then, and even more so this year. Sometimes you just get the taste of it in 1 year and turn around the next year, feel like they know how to deal with it. Got a world champion right now in Ben Zobrist at the plate. And one of the big issues about the collective bargaining agreement is the compensation. But if you trade it like Zobrist was, the team doesn't get compensation.
Right.
So he was able to sign with the Cubs. Cubs didn't have to give up any draft choices.
He was in a perfect spot.
Yeah, he was.
Because you're right. There's no what do you call it? No qualifying offer.
Right.
You cannot make a qualifying offer to a player that's been traded. So Zobrist traded. He was in a perfect spot,
right.
and he had a bunch of teams going after him, including the Mets.
Yeah.
Big market team. Giants were going after it. Big market team. So I mean, for the year of Ben Zobrist, it was the whole offseason was Christmas.
That's right.
He had everything he needed. Good inning for Andrew Triggs.
TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch it every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to AdVat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. You can visit MLB.tv for details.
Well, the A's trying to get something going against Lester, trailing 7-0. John Lester has allowed just 1 hit, and he has 4 strikeouts. Simeon struck out in the first inning.
One of the parts of notes now that we see that they talk about the ERA for a catcher. David Ross has a low ERA when he's behind the plate, and that's credit to him. And this game is 7-0, but between Lester and Ross right now, it's not about winning a game. It is winning, but also, oh, he just come on, you can't do that. See, look at it.
I've never seen that before.
Not in baseball.
Well, no. I mean,
but you know the thing, I asked Chris Bosio about it, the pitching coach, and I said, Chris, what are you doing? And he said, well, and he's talking about 0-2, 1-2. Well, what was the count? It was 1-2. So Ross went to that to see kind of what they wanted to do. But I've never seen it before, and I saw it in a game that he was catching in Chicago, and I said, wow. And then I saw him peek at it, and he just did it again right in front of us. I can't wait for Chris Bosio to go to the mound because Bosio's got bad knees. I said, how do you deal with it? And he said, I told him when they said he had 30 seconds, he said, you have one extreme, the Coliseum, Wrigley Field.
Yeah, that's true.
He said, I've got 10 seconds to get there, 10 seconds to say what I'm going to say, and 10 seconds to get back. And he said, I'm not going to change my pace either. But he's got some bad knees.
3-2 the count to Simeon.
But I guess quarterbacks do it, right? Quarterbacks have it.
Well, sure. That's
look.
pretty commonplace now. So the last 3 starts for Lester. Beat the Mets, got a no decision against Milwaukee, and beat the Mariners. Right to the shortstop, Russell fires across. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And here's Smolinski.
Just watching David Ross, as a catcher at the Coliseum, there's so much foul territory. And the last thing you want to do is not back up and have a ball get by. But look at the foul territory where he has to run all the way down here to back up first base on a throw on the left side of the infield. And it's a sprint. But as soon as you don't, that's when the ball is going to get away from the first baseman and you're standing there watching it roll over to the sideline.
Just foul by Smolinski. Smolinski hit a line drive to right field that Hayward made a very nice sliding catch on. That was in the first. Big slow curve. Tried to catch the outside corner. And that one is belted to left field. Bryant goes back. And Bryant has it. Notes on the John Lester curveball. The batting average last year 173, this year just 125. So it's always been a good pitch for him.
Number 26, Danny.
It's been real good this year.
Well, you give a quality pitcher, and again, you have over 300 starts. You know how to pitch. And for John Lester to get the 4 in the first inning, I mean, if you give him 1, it's going to be a tough battle because he's a good pitcher and he does not give in. He has enough of cut fastball, curveball, changeup arsenal to be able to use, especially in counts in which hitters might be looking fastball.
He's got a great career record, 138 and 83. 11th year in the big leagues. So 1-1 the count.
That ball might have had a little cut or something on it because Ross caught it funny and John Lester asked for a new baseball, and that's one of the problems. If a ball hits the ground, you see catchers always asking for a new baseball, because if it gets a scuff on it, you call one pitch and it comes in differently than the way Ross caught it. Looked like something did happen to him.
The end of the bat. Russell takes care of it, and that is 8 in a row retired by John Lester. We're headed to the 5th. 7-0 Chicago. To celebrate Turn Back the Clock Day when the A's play host to the Cubs, 15,000 fans will go home with a retro Billy Ball 3/4 sleeve baseball tee. It's presented by Cache Creek Casino Resort. In addition, the A's will be wearing throwback uniforms that pay homage to the 1981 Billy Martin team in advance to the 1981 ALCS. Get tickets soon, right now, at athletics.com. Can't We'll
wait
have fun tomorrow night.
Yeah, can't wait to see the Cubs. Well, Steve Vucinic is working on the A's for a long time.
Bruce working hard. Russell with a leadoff single here in the 5th. True story brought to you by McDonald's. April 19th, 1981. Check out the Coliseum. It's rocking. A's win 6-1. It's their 11th straight win to start the season. Mike Norris beats Seattle in the first game of a doubleheader. Check it out. Is that awesome?
That's great.
They lost the second game of that doubleheader 3-2, but they opened up that 81 season 11-0.
11-0, and they won 17-1.
The great years when you were there, Ray, and then things went downhill for a little while, and then that kind of brought it back for a short period of time.
And you could see the crowd, and Shooty Babbitt said it best, you know, they're coming off a bad season in '80. And at that time, Charlie Finley sold the club to the Haas family, and that was the latter part of the season. And then all of a sudden they go 11-0, and the place is packed. Celebration on the big scoreboard in left field.
2-1 to Jorge Solar.
People don't remember this stadium has changed so much, but that was the scoreboard high above the left field area. And now Mount Davis is out there.
Just a touch different.
Just a touch.
Healy has it. Fires to second for one. Quick turn to first, and that's a double play. Nicely done by the A's. Young infield. So a little bit more on what was going on in 1981. Average home price, $78,000. Raleigh Fingers was the
now batting
Cy Young and MVP.
Jason
Mike Schmidt,
Hayward.
MVP in the National League. Fernando Mania hit LA. Who was born? Ben Zobrist. Sam Fuld.
Wow.
I graduated from high school in 1981. An 81 grad.
Well, some of the best commercials were done by the manager, Billy Martin.
Yeah, I saw one the other day.
Yeah, there were some good ones. I like the one where the guy who always did the pizza commercials went up to buy some tickets.
Right. Yeah. The guy that went up to. I saw the other one where he was kind of talking to the team in the locker room, giving signs, and they were panning all the players, and you spotted. I saw Jeff Newman. Front row. Big Jeff was sitting.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. It's been as long as it has since that '81 team. That was a strike year, so they had two halves.
That's right.
It's kind of a strange way to have a season, but that's the way it was, and it unfortunately didn't go all the way. Mr. Haas probably would have thought life is so good. You buy a club and you go to the World Series the first year, even postseason, or start out the season that way. But Haas family at that time owned the club through '95.
Two pitch to Hayward. Slider just a little bit down and in, so full count. Hayward has struck out, and he's got an RBI single and a run scored. Strike three, call the fastball from Triggs on the inside corner. So double play helps Triggs. He's doing his job, and it's 7-0 as we head to the bottom of the fifth. He's that gentleman right there, Dave Stagnaro, one of the terrific cameramen here at the Coliseum, enjoying the game with his young daughter Veronica. Stag's trying to keep warm. Stag's usually working, whether it be here or over at AT&T Park. But tonight, he's just going to enjoy the game. Nothing wrong with that.
Instead of working a game, you can watch the game.
That's right. Davis, Butler, and Healy for the A's here in the bottom of the 5th inning. A's have not been able to get anything going against Lester. They have just 1 hit, and he has retired 8 in a row. And the 1 hit was Davis. Leadoff single in the 2nd. He was thrown out trying to steal. Daniel Colon starts to throw.
And for Lester, he has faced the minimum after his battery mate threw out. Chris Davis trying to steal. But really, you don't have to worry about stolen base attempts if you don't put him out on base.
Nope. It's true. Two and two the count.
He's got to look. He's gone through all the science and he didn't like it. So let me think. What can I throw him? Let's see. Chris Davis, 3 and 2. What do we do? That's so convenient, though. Just lay your elbow.
Ouch.
That's what
Should have
happens.
thrown the other pitch.
That's right. When you look at your cheat sheet, it's got him good. Right kneecap. Bang, bang. Yep. That hurts. I mean, that hurts. Got him in the chest after the knee.
Fastball inside. And it was not inside, it was outside, but Davis swings and misses anyway.
2017 season ticket memberships are on sale right now. Whether you want to renew your membership or join the party, visit athletics.com/2017. You'll find all the benefits today's membership has to offer, including early bird incentives, exclusive experiences, half-price parking, flexible ticket exchange program, and more. You can even lock in your 2017 season seating location. You can visit athletics.com/2017 and join the party today.
Join the party.
Join the party. Seat location, check it out.
Billy Butler grounded out to second. The ball hard right up the middle, and that is where the second baseman Ben Zobrist is playing.
Now some say it was Joe Madden who was one of the first to utilize the shift. He was with the Angels, bench coach for Terry Collins. Asking Joe about that, and he said, man, what a mess it's become.
It's your fault, Joe.
And he just said, Ken Griffey Jr. He said, hey, you know, he's been doing this, he's hitting the ball here. You mind if I shift the guys over? And he did it.
His fault.
It's gone to the extreme now. It really, except right now, I mean, slight shift by Zobrist, otherwise pretty straight up. And Zobrist in the right position when Butler hit the ball the last time.
So 2 and 2 the count. Lester with 5 strikeouts in the game. He likes to try to dot that outside corner.
Yeah, even in the count where you think he's going to challenge you with fastball, he doesn't have to. He's so good at changing speeds. That's a big thought process by his catcher. Ross had his head down, like, let's see. Now but he was really thinking hard about what to call on this 3 and 2.
Right back, straight up over the screen by Butler. Good swing. Butler has been hot lately. In fact, he's got a little 6-game hitting streak. He's 11 for his last 20. Well, his batting average right now sitting at 283. Something off speed.
Yeah, slider cutter.
And it's hit hard but foul. Pitch like that too. And then Butler hit it fairly hard, but I think it's a hard ball to hit fair.
Yeah, you get out in front. It's going to slide right in towards your back foot, and it's too close to take. Thinking it might be a strike. If you hit it, you do pull it, just like you said. And it's really a cheap strike, although it was already 3-2. You see, sometimes a pitcher would do that to force a hitter to pull a ball, knowing it's going to be a strike. Can't keep it fair. Slider in, now fastball in.
And he got him swinging. 92 miles an hour. So 6 strikeouts now for Lester.
Well, he sped up his bat with a breaking ball, and then a fastball slowed it down just enough. Couldn't get around on it. Pretty good pitching.
Now batting third baseman, number 48, Ryan.
Really, as tough as it is on the A's and scoring and trying to get hits, you kind of really appreciate what a battery will do in trying to make sure that even though they have the big lead, and I know many times you have to talk to pitchers and say, let's pitch this game just like it's 1-1 or scoreless.
Russell with a nice play in the backhand. 3 up, 3 down inning again for John Lester. 6th inning coming up. 7-0 Cubs. News for the Bay Area fan. It's Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai. It's tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Highlights from this A's Cubs game. Matt Mayoko gets a full report from 49ers camp. Fallon Smith will do the same from Raiders camp. Henry Wolford, Danny Pummel will host. So 7-0 Cubs lead the A's. It's the top of the 6th inning. Pitcher for the A's is the lefty Daniel Colon. So Traig's 2 good innings, a hit, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
And the nice thing about Traig's just pitching 2 innings, he can stay.
I hope so.
Yeah, man, you know, that's smart managing because you have a quality relief pitcher. You want to try to keep him in the fold. Too many pitches that maybe can't stick around. So Andrew Triggs, another great job, and he's done a remarkable job ever since he's been here, back and forth. Young pitching coach Bob Melvin, and realizing getting a hole in the first inning. 4 runs Cubs scored in the first inning. Another starting pitcher goes short.
Big swing by Javier Baez. 2-1 the count. Baez had a 2-run double in the 3rd. Hit a ball hard to center in the second. Oh, foul. Javier Baez is in the big leagues in 2014 and 2015. Getting a chance to play much more this year. He's back and forth, minor leagues and the big leagues the last 2 years. Good breaking ball. Malone's got a good curveball, and he showed it right there. Baez could not pull the trigger.
Well, we've talked about Clayton Kershaw, who may be out for the season, but Daniel Coulomb was with him in Los Angeles, and very smartly talked to him. As well as the great Sandy Koufax. You get the buckle of the knees, the guy freezes on the breaking ball. It's a great one right over the top. He's done a remarkable job for the A's as well out of the bullpen.
So 1 away for David Ross. First pitch, strike. Ross has hit a fly ball to left field, and he has struck out tonight.
You notice he only has the opposing hitters on his form.
Takes it off.
But while he's hitting, he's got it on. Now he keeps it on all the time, but he never peeks at it when he's hitting. It's only when he's catching.
What does this guy throw?
It's
Cologne.
Let me take a look.
Got the relievers in alphabetical order.
But I've heard we're going to see more and more of this, even with the outfielders, that the outfield coach is now going to have to trim up the information on the position of the outfielders.
Nice play. Orlando had a long ways to come. He was playing behind second base, so he had to really hustle in.
Last inning, when Russell was on first base, a double play turn was Solar, and watch how he goes underneath. He's got one of the strongest arm strength from throwing underneath right there, and that's not an easy play, but the accuracy in which he throws to first base is tremendous. He turned the double play a 5-4-3 last inning. Russell, who he hit in the back as Russell popped up, turned it and almost got him again. He released it so quickly.
Leadoff man Dexter Fowler, homer, single, fly ball to left. So his 4th at bat in 6 innings. One and one the count. Fowler's home run was in the first inning, his 9th of the year. Just missed. Fowler was an all-star this year, but he could not play. He was injured. Right hamstring got him. Missed a fair amount of time.
Also had a 3-year contract with the Orioles then. Something happened in negotiations that he ended up taking a 1-year deal back with the Cubs, where he had been before. Been to Houston, I guess, then traded to the Cubs. They got him back. Thought it was an interesting spring training site when he showed up.
Another tough play for Landorf. Can he make it? Yes! Gets the speedy Fowler. Nicely done by Tyler Landorf. So 3 up, 3 down inning for Cologne. 7-0 Cubs lead. Brewers, the banquet beer. August 2nd, 2014. John Lester makes his athletic debut. He was acquired from the Red Sox at the trade deadline, along with Johnny Gomes for Yoenis Cespedes. He got the win. He beat the Kansas City Royals that day. 8-3 was the final. Pitched into the 7th inning. 104 pitches. So John Lester, for a short time anyways, was an Oakland A. He pitched well for the A's. He was 6-4 with a 2.35 ERA. That one is blasted to left field. And Brett Eibner, welcome to Oakland, as that baby is gone. So Eibner, a towering drive to left field. So that'll feel good. Making his A's debut.
So much for all those change-ups and cut fastballs and falling behind as it in his first at bat. Unloaded. See, Scott Emerson came in from the bullpen just in time.
Yep.
That's probably exactly why Eibner did it. So, welcome to Oakland. First game, second at bat. First pitch home run, crushed.
So the A's are on the board. It's 7-1.
Interesting in that highlight showing John Lester. The irony of that whole thing, his first start as the A's was against the team that he dominated all season. Right. The Red Sox, the A's dominated the Royals. And yet in the one game, 3-run lead going in the 8th inning, he just could not finish it. But take a look at, again, a very good swing by Brett Eibner as the fastball tried to get in, left in the middle of the plate, and John Lester said, just give me another baseball. I know where that was going to end up, and it's not coming back to be able to use it again. So very nice swing by Eibner, and that is a good one. Both he and the pitcher knew it was going.
2-2 now to Ladendorf.
And it sounded great, and so much for the line. Well up over the out-of-town scoreboard.
2-2 pitch at the knees. Strike 3 call. Remember earlier in that 2014 season when John Lester was still with the Red Sox, he dominated the Athletics in a May game. And they just could not do anything against him.
Yeah, he did everything as far as the cut fastball, and
15 strikeouts.
Remember that.
Left center field. Maxwell's got a hit.
Hurry up, get to second, don't get thrown out. Hurry.
And Maxwell is going to have a 2-out double, make that a 1-out double.
Good swing by the youngster, and I said that because against Tomlin a week ago tomorrow, got his first major league hit, but was thrown out at second. This time a line drive into left center, head down, and a good swing by Maxwell going opposite field, and no chance for anybody to get to it, much less throw him out as he coasted into second. First extra base hit.
And here's Marcus Semien. Semien has struck out, and he has grounded to short. Up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. Here comes Maxwell, and he will come in to score. It's 7-2. So Semien up the middle for an RBI single.
Well, just get on the scoreboard. You never know what can happen. And Marcus Semien, the ball up the middle, had a big RBI single yesterday. Could have been 2 runs driven in. There was 1. This, though, a big one up the middle. See how close Russell comes to this ball, Cat, because the only time an infielder should dive is to try to prevent a run from scoring. Russell went after it, and sometimes you leave your feet, you might knock the ball down. Semien at shortstop, where Addison Russell was the future shortstop for the A's, but traded to the Cubs. And Marcus Semien acquired from the White Sox, and he's playing short for the A's.
They'll start moving around in that Cubs bullpen. Only 77 pitches for Lester, but a homer, double, and a single in this inning. First pitch to Smolinski is low.
The Cubs are very familiar with the bullpen and playing field as they have at Wrigley Field. The friendly confines, that's a small area where they have their Wrigley Field.
Smolinski, good swing. And if you've never been to a game at Wrigley, that's obviously something you need to do if you're a baseball fan. But it's a lot like Fenway, where you're packed in there pretty good. You will be very close to somebody sitting next to you.
A lot of renovations. They've the Ricketts family own the ball club now. They've done a lot to that stadium. That huge scoreboard in left field.
Outfield looks great.
Yeah. They actually started the season last year with some of the area unoccupied or wasn't completed. Of course, they're dealing with the Chicago winter weather.
I thought you were going to say they're dealing with Chicago politics.
Well,
which that would have fit too, I think.
That's common. Let's go with the weather, though.
Yeah. The A's have been to Wrigley Field twice. They went in 2004 and they went in 2010. This is the second time the Cubs have been here. So overall, just the fourth interleague series between the A's and the Cubs since interleague came aboard in 1997. So we would all love to go to Wrigley more. But
you know, the late Bill King, unfortunately, he didn't like he didn't like interleague play, and he did not go to Wrigley Field that year. Yeah, I mean, but it was a long hike up to. There's no elevators in Wrigley Field press
you're right.
box.
It's not easy.
Yeah, you gotta walk up, and but growing up in Illinois, as the great Bill King did, you thought that he would go there, but he opted not to go. The only games he broadcast were across the bay and here.
2-2 to Smolinski. So we'll have to wait 3 years and then
maybe
see if maybe Wrigley's on the schedule. Next year the A's will play the National League East. There's a shot to right center, and that's a hit. Semien to third. He will make it, and the A's trying to chip away. First and third, one out. Amazing. Lester rolling along had allowed just one hit in the first 5 innings. The A's have 4 hits in this inning.
Now Smolinski asking a home plate umpire about the previous pitch, whether it was in the location or not. So goes on a pitch down and in and serves it out to right center. Okay, here goes Chris Bosio. There's the pace as Marcus Semien, those long strides, getting to third base, going around the bag a little bit. Okay, so Chris Bosio, the trip out, so it's taken him 11, 12, 13 seconds. He said, I got 3 points. I'll make my points quickly and then head back. Here he goes. Clock's on him. There he goes. He made his points. He's the only pitcher, Cap, that I ever remember playing for the Mariners. Pitched a no-hitter. And I always think about, and I remind him, as Omar Vizquel came in, fielded it barehanded. The final out of the game for his no-hitter. Right. I mean, if he misses it, yeah, I got him a hit, but that's the sure-handed Omar Vizquel. So Boz had his no-hitter, and he said, I made it in 20 seconds or 30 seconds, so okay, I got a little lather going, but I made it.
Valencia, first pitch to Valencia is inside. This inning has gone homer, strikeout, double, single, single. Valencia has struck out and grounded to short. And now it's 2-0. On deck is Chris Davis. So you have 2 guys coming up, Valencia and Davis. Very, very good power. Stroke. Just now up. Starting to throw a little bit. And that's a low strike, and that's not a strike.
Wow. Just cannot believe it. I mean, look how low this is. This is 3-0. Instead, he gives him a strike. What are you looking at? And don't wait until the catcher's mitt comes up in the strike zone, because that's even worse. Makes it look worse.
Valencia chases that one. 2-2.
This clearly out of the strike zone. It's a breaking ball down and in.
Simeon at third, Smolinski at first. Smolinski inching off. Strike 3 called on the outside corner, and Valencia is gone.
Oh, you knew that.
Yep. And Bob Melvin may go too. Remember, Valencia had the bad call on him in the first inning, so he had had enough. Obviously, he's not arguing the third strike, because that looked like a pretty good pitch. It was the one before that. Well, Bob Melvin keeps himself in the game.
Chris Davis ejected yesterday.
Left fielder, number 2, Chris Davis.
And you know, it's like Estabrook. He was not, as soon as Danny Valencia opened his mouth, he was gone. He was gone. And I think Estabrook knew that immediately he opened his mouth, he was going to complain, he's going to throw him out. And that finger, that hand, and granted, sure, he said a few choice words that warranted it as far as they're concerned, but he just knew it was going to happen.
First pitch to Davis is low. So 8 strikeouts now for Lester.
I'd like to see Chris Davis get into a fastball or something and make it a 2-run game with one swing of the bat.
Off the plate, 2-0. Davis a single and a strikeout. Need to get Simeon in at least. That was a pitch to hit, and Davis had a good rip at it. 2-1. Setting up inside. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Got it. Just passed him. I mean, pretty good pitch to hit. It's the old, if I make contact, it's going to travel. Just could not put the bat on.
Lester grabs it. He'll underhand to first, side retired. So the A's get a couple of runs on 4 hits. Brett Eibner with a solo home run. 7-2 after 6 here at the Coliseum. 7-2 as we reach the 7th inning. Yonder Alonso comes in, takes over for Danny Valencia, who was thrown out of the game. Daniel Colon out there for his 2nd inning of work. Had a 3 up, 3 down, 6th inning. Facing Chris Bryant, who's 1 for 3 with a single and a couple of strikeouts. That big series down in Texas got underway. And the Astros shut out the Rangers 5-0 in game 1. Rangers dominated the Astros this year, but not tonight. Dallas Keuchel with a complete game 3 hitter. So Astros pick up a game. Now 5.5 back.
What a good man to start. A good pitcher to start, especially at home. Keuchel's been outstanding, and Brent Strom, the pitching coach, just figured out what he did and what they can continue to do against a team that they've had difficulty beating consistently.
Yeah, the Astros now 2-9 against Texas this year. Bryant swings and misses. The Mariners are leading the Angels 6-4 in the 6th inning. We'll keep an eye on that one up at Safeco Field. Mariners 54 and 53. Headed toward the dugout. Mike Trout hit a home run in the 1st inning of that game up in Seattle. Rizzo to follow, and then Zobrist for the Cubs. And now full count. Tim Lincecum started that game for the Angels, Ray, and of course he's from Seattle. So that's a big deal, right? Sure. He just got pounded. 9 hits, 6 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings, and his ERA is 9.16. That's not working.
The A's were supposed to see him yesterday, but they decided to go with Ricky Nolasco, and would think that he had to be happy. Lincecum, that is, to be able to pitch up in the Northwest.
Well,
not with those numbers.
Just, you know, watching him pitch for the Giants the last 3 years, the stuff not the same, and
number 44,
the numbers not really all that good. And then thinking, well, now you're going to pitch in the American League where there's an extra hitter in every lineup, and that extra hitter that's in the lineup is usually a big hitter, right? He's the DH. So maybe you shouldn't be surprised that he has struggled, although as much as he is, you start thinking about, well, maybe he wants to pitch next year. Well, I mean, well, like, not showing much, unfortunately.
Like Rich Hill, who wanted to start, and he's starting now, and the Angels gave Lincecum a chance to start, and that's one of the reasons he wanted to sign there.
But you may be, I mean, his only opportunity to really maybe keep his career going may be to try to pitch out of the bullpen, and I don't know that that would work either. 0-2 pitch to Rizzo. He's low. 1-2 the count. Yankees beat the Indians 13-7 in New York. Pineda over Tomlin.
I don't think Terry Francona rode his scooter to Yankee Stadium.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, that would be tough to do. Something. I don't know that he would make it.
Put a GoPro on his head. Go get him. So the Indians lose. The Tigers win. Tigers beat the Mets 4-3. So the Tigers pick up a game. They're just 2 back, 3 back in the loss column. So Verlander got his 12th win. He beats Syndergaard. The Tigers have won 9 out of 10, and they are making it interesting, not only in that wild card, but in the AL Central. Strike 3 called to Rizzo.
Mike Estabrook's got quite a strike zone tonight. He's high, he's low, he's north and south. Everything's good for him. So Rizzo watched Valencia take a pitch that was about his ankles, and this one saying okay, and
high strike.
Yeah. I guess they should get used to it. It's supposed to be now changed at the lower part, but
so here's Zobrist, who takes a strike. Zobrist has hit a fly ball to left field. He has doubled and scored, and he is grounded to second. Orioles beat the White Sox 7-5 in Chicago. A couple of home runs for Pedro Alvarez. 17 and 18. Everybody hits home runs on that team. The Orioles get their 62nd win. Bryant swings at, or Zobrist swings at a pitch in the dirt.
Well, Coulombe's curveball has got to be good when you get hitters swinging at pitches, kind of a check swing, half swing pitches that are down. So a great pitch for the A's lefty out of the bullpen. Many will throw the true 12-6. Coulombe has a very good one, and as a result, he gets some quality pitches, quality strikes with the pitch.
2-2 the count. Last Athletic to hit a home run in his first game with the team. So Zobrist and Eibner. They have something in common. They don't even know it. Flashback.
Oh, that's right. Gallardo of the Texas Rangers. Got to go through the tunnel. It was fun that early in the season. Eibner just thinks if I can get a 4-year contract.
That's right.
For 50 plus, that would be good. Then we'll be in the same page, same category.
Yeah, we'll have something else in common. May get a chance to play Brett Eibner.
Probably. Josh Reddick no longer with the ball club, and he was a fixture in right field, lefties and righties, especially this year.
Runner goes. It's hit to Healy. Backhands, throws wide, and the tag is made. Alonso had to come off the bag, and he took care of it. So 2 outs with Chris Bryant now at second base.
But see if Healy looks like he catches the ball and make sure he has a 4-seam grip. Yeah, he spun it in his hand and then he threw. And sometimes you do that and you realize, oops, the runner is almost to the bag. I better hurry. And I think at that point is when he pulled him off the bag. One of the techniques is that you put the ball in your hand, you kind of spin it as you're positioning yourself to throw. So you don't have to look at it and make it sure and turn it, because that's when the runners get down the bag of the line a little bit quicker than maybe you think. See, Kendall Graveman saying, now watch, I'm a ground ball pitcher, you know, and I want my guys, if they feel the ball, I want to be a good throw. I want to be a good throw across the back, because I get all these ground balls.
Oh, that's great. I don't think he's happy.
Hey, kid, let's say, hey, watch, you know Sweet Home Alabama? When I take the mound, they're going to play it again here, coming up pretty soon.
Good curveball, strike. Well, the thing with Wash is I mean, what he's saying, I mean, he believes in it. He makes a lot of sense. He's terrific at teaching it. But there's also an entertainment value with
the animation,
with his delivery and what he's telling, and he will make you laugh. He may not laugh, but he'll make you laugh. But you know, he knows exactly what he's talking about.
Can we get a hidden microphone down there?
That's probably not a great idea. Eibner has it, side retired. So we have reached the 7th inning stretch from the Coliseum. Cubs 7, A's 2. We're going to have lots of fun. It's game 2 of this 3-game series. Sonny Gray and Jake Arrieta. Our coverage begins at 12:30 with A's pregame live. Complete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central at CSNCalifornia.com. And remember, we're celebrating 1981 tomorrow. The Cubs and the A's both wearing the throwback uniforms from 1981. I saw the A's. They're looking good.
Oh, you know they're looking good.
The Cubs, they're going to go with the powder blue. Maybe that's the uniform right there. Who knows? Don't want to give it away. Butler drives one to left, but it's in the ballpark. So what the heck was going on in 1981?
None of the players playing tomorrow were born.
I don't think so. Ronnie Reagan went in January of 1981. First term as president.
Oh, wow.
Look at the Lego train set. Legos come a long way.
$70 in 81. That's not
Trust
bad.
me, I know all about Legos.
Wow.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Great movie. Good sequels as well. And the Raiders won the Super Bowl, so that was a good year.
Jim Plunkett.
27-10 over the Eagles. Some of the fun facts and tomorrow's telecast. We're calling it a retro telecast. It's going to have a little different look. A look like 1981. If you're not sure what that means, you'll just have to tune in.
I can't wait.
Yep. Guys in the truck have been working hard on some goodies. So it's going to be fun. And a pretty good matchup. Sonny Gray and Jake Arrieta. It's a base hit for Ryan Healy. So hit number 6 for the A's comes here in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out.
Well, the breaking ball down and in, and Ryan Healy just dropped the head of the bat down.
Right
And that's what you like to see. Pull the ball that's down and in. He went very well in Anaheim, going to right center with a couple of pitches away. Okay, we've been talking about this big weekend of baseball, starting tonight with the Italian Heritage Night and 7th inning stretch. It's not just your basic take me out of the ball game. It was a group of Italian singers singing.
Yeah.
That's Amore.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's very nice.
It was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Wasn't Dean Martin, but that's okay.
So Staggs up on the big board. No, Dean Martin.
Only one Dino. Eibner with a home run in the 6th. His 4th of the year, his first with the A's, just called up today. Brett Eibner. Let's take a look at it.
And a good swing, a powerful swing from the young man. He did not waste any time. First pitch hitting from the lefty John Lester. Ron Washington with a no salute. There's only one guy that salutes Wash, and that's Chris Davis. He's done it 27 times each year.
Way inside. Some more stuff on Eibner. He was a 2nd-round pick in 2010 of the Royals. Went to the University of Arkansas. Played in the College World Series in 2009. Pitched in college.
Did he catch?
I don't think so. Throw to first. And diving back in is Healy. Pitch was a strike, so the count 2-2.
And that would not be good to be picked off 5 runs down.
Probably not.
Not a good idea. Better Ross did not throw from the knees. He came up quickly and got a very quick release, as you showed, throwing out Davis. Okay, it's 2-2. What do we go? Fastball away. You know what, Ken?
Pokes a foul.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a little surprised because David Ross has been around a long time. Both leagues, knows the hitters, catches Lester. But I guess it's kind of a reminder. Seeing something, you know, every day you come to the park, you might see something you've never seen. We're doing it tonight.
Yeah. Could it be, and I'm not disagreeing with you, could it be it's just easier?
It's not as much fun, though. I mean, it's like being in school and you're taking a test. Somebody lays the answers down.
What's wrong with that? Oh, my gosh. Oh, speaking about Christmas coming early.
You wouldn't take the answers, would you?
Oh, yes, I would.
But it's really, it's easier, yes.
Backhanded nicely by Zobrist, and the throw to Russell was high. He was able to keep his foot on the bag to get the second out. I think if it was a better flip to Zobrist, it may have been a double play, although Eibner, I think he runs pretty well.
A little flip, and he just kind of highlighted going up as Russell came down, and Healy, all he could do, wow, the splits, and that's really very awkward by Russell. Just tag the bag and get out of the way. You're not going to turn 2. And maybe he thought he missed it. No, he did get it with his toe and then thought about 2, but
get out of there.
Absolutely, especially with a play like that, you're definitely not going to turn 2 with all that taking place.
Well, here's Ladendorf.
The runner at second is going to be an easy out because Healy thought the ball might be caught as it was heading towards Zobrist.
Ladendorf has hit a fly ball to left field, and he has struck out.
Tyler's mother and grandmother might be watching the game from back in Chicago.
That's right.
On the Cubs telecast.
Checking in with Len Casper and Jim Deshays, 2 very nice gentlemen that do the TV work for the Cubbies.
Yes, Jim had to put a jacket on over there. I said, you're not in Chicago anymore in the summertime. It's a little bit cooler here. It's nice, beautiful Bay weather.
Foul past Mike Aldretti.
You guys felt it getting off the plane last night too.
It was a little. It was actually damp. It was just not really raining, but
yeah.
Jim Deshays pitched in the big leagues for a long time. See, look at their logos, huh?
Absolutely.
Comcast Sportsnet.
And you know what? I bet they never wear a jacket and tie.
I think so.
I would say forget it.
See him quite a bit on MLB.com, and you're right. Zobrist has it, so the A's do not score. We are headed to the 8th inning from the Coliseum. 7-2 Cubbies.
California, there it is, and that's a big sign. But wherever you are, you can keep your car's interior cool with your very own Sunny Gray car sunshades presented by Chevrolet. Sunday, August the 14th, 10,000 fans will receive the stylish promotion at the 1:05 p.m. A's versus the Mariners game. Make sure you and your car stay cool even on the sunniest days of the summer by visiting athletics.com/tickets today. That's a week from Sunday. Big homestand. 10 gamers starting tonight with these Chicago Cubs.
That's right. So you get the first place Cubs and then the first place Orioles. Right. I was reading about the Orioles today, and we saw them in May. We had a doubleheader there.
A long time ago. Yeah.
And then haven't seen them since. John Lester done for the evening. 7 good innings. But the premise of the article, and it was interesting, was how everybody looks at the Orioles and says, well, is the starting pitching good enough? Is Soler, can't believe it, he's called out on strikes, so that's the first down. But the point was you gotta start looking at what the Orioles are really good at, and their bullpen has been
22,
lights out. Like they're talking
Hayward.
like the Royals from last year, lights out.
That's right.
And terrific defensive team, and they hit home runs. And nowadays, you get just enough starting pitching, and then if you have one of those bullpens,
That's right.
it could be enough.
And a lot of teams that go in that direction where they build their bullpen for a really 9-out save combined with 3 relievers. When you look at the Cubs, they had Rondon as their closer. He goes in the setup role with Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, Cubs now have a very deep bullpen. But the Orioles they've been a good defensive team for a lot of years now, and they continue to be that way.
And J.J. Hardy, their leader at shortstop. Of course, Machado, the perennial Gold Glover, at third.
Oh, and 2 inside to Jason Hayward.
See, if he had Stroke, there was Scope.
That's right.
Stroke, Scope.
The Orioles wish Stroke was there.
That's right.
Because he was part of the Arrieta trade.
That's right.
One of those trades that, well, the Orioles will never be able to live down. But
you never know.
that's all right.
You never know. Larry Anderson forgetting about Jeff Bagwell.
Hayward strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. 10 strikeouts for A's pitchers.
Now a breaking ball. This one not away from Hayward. Stayed inside. He tried to pull the hands in to make contact, but could not.
Number 9, Javier.
I thought Joe Maddon's comment about Jason Hayward and the shifts. He said he's probably been hurt more with the shift than any guy's ever seen. He said were it not for the shift, he probably would be hitting closer to 270 and 80. You know, tonight 231. Chris Coghlan, see that guy in the front? That's Chris Coghlan. There's Joe Maddon, but Maddon was talking about it. Chris, of course, traded to the Athletics in spring training for Aaron Brooks. Coghlan had a ribcage injury on the disabled list. He's back. He says, I know all about this park.
0-1 the count. Semien charges on the run, and they get Javier Baez and Daniel Colon 3 shutout innings. 7-2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
By authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Cubs jumped out to a 4-0 lead in the very first inning. They now have 7 runs on 10 hits, no errors. A's with 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors. John Lester, just a very solid outing. That's what he does. Goes 7 innings, 2 earned runs, and 8 strikeouts. A couple of home runs by the Cubs. The starter tonight for the A's, Dylan Overton, was not very good, but the bullpen has been. Triggs and Colon. They have combined now for 5 shutout innings. New pitcher is Carl Edwards Jr. Carl Edwards Jr. wearing number 6, facing Maxwell, Semien, and Smolinski.
And you don't see a lot of pitchers wearing a single-digit number.
No, you do not.
But he's good. Lester was good. Lester got that huge lead in the first inning and pitched as if it was a scoreless game, and that's why he's such a good pitcher, going for win number 12.
Cubs got Carl Edwards from the Texas Rangers a while back in 2013. And the Cubs sent Matt Garza to Texas. So we got a handful of young players back for Garza, and one of them was this young man, Carl Edwards. Fastball 95, curve 81.
It's an easy 95 too.
2 pitch is a swing and a miss. 95. And Maxwell strikes out.
See, he couldn't wear that number in St. Louis. Stan Musial.
No, probably not.
Retired. Let's go. But an easy fastball outside corner, and Maxwell thinking about going to left center as he did earlier against the lefty Lester, but this pitch away and got by him a little quickly.
Edwards pitched in 5 games last year for the Cubs, getting to the big leagues for the first time. Marcus Semien had an RBI single in the 6th inning. That's when the A's got their 2 runs. They had a chance for more, but could not come up with the big hit. Mark Sepczynski getting ready out in the A's bullpen. Malinsky to follow. A lot of strikeouts in this game. Cubs hitters have struck out 10 times. A's hitters have struck out 9. Curveball. What a play at third by Baez. His throw to first, and they got him. Sensational play by Javier Baez. Man, oh man.
Not only to catch the ball, but to throw from his knee and get enough on it with the accuracy to throw out Marcus Semien, who could run. I mean, that is a tremendous play. To catch the ball, number 1, take a hit away on the breaking ball, but not even bother to get up because of the arm strength and the accuracy on top of it. And maybe Semien can't believe it.
Maybe as good a play as we've seen
absolutely
on the infield this year.
Yeah. The range to his left, and that's a lot of confidence in your arm strength to be able to not worry about getting up, because that's something that players have to worry about. Dive, how quickly can they get up? He says, the heck with it, I'll just throw for my knees. Tremendous play.
And if he gets up, he probably doesn't get Semien.
He probably got as much on his throw from his knees than he would have gotten by standing up and taking long to do it that way. That is a tremendous play.
Oh, 2 to Jake Smolinski, who's 1 for 3. He had a base hit in the 6th. He's got 4 hits in that 6th inning. Coming right at him with that fastball is Edwards. The crowd tonight is 25,182. Quite a bit of blue in the crowd.
Yes, they were here early too. They're all on the first base side. That's good. You see, Joe Maddon's familiar with getting the crowds on the road because he managed Tampa Bay Rays when he had the Yankee crowd and the Red Sox crowd all coming down to Florida to cheer on their teams.
Cubs have always had a great following, even with their World Series drought.
Number 14, Ernie Banks, let's play 2. Never got to the World Series, never won a World Championship. All those great players. I mean, you think back, 1908 was the last time they won. There's been a lot of players going through. Chicago never won.
So good inning for Carl Edwards Jr. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts.
Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
7-2 Cubs lead in game 1 of the 3-game series. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So Mark Zipczynski becomes the 4th pitcher of the night for the A's. He's been a workhorse, 49 appearances. First pitch to Ross, off the end of the bat, foul.
There's some concern as A's were leaving Cleveland, where Zipczynski was on the flight. And I said to him and Adam, I said, "Were you on the flight?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "People said you weren't there." And he says, "That's because I get traded every time it's trading deadline."
Yeah, he has been traded 4 times.
He said, 4? Yeah, he said 4 times. He knew. And he said, "No, I was there." And he said, "But you know, everybody thinks I've been traded anyway."
He's been through that trade deadline thing.
Yeah, a few times. He's happy to have him, doing a good job, and you can understand why clubs would want him.
Wait.
Closing in on 400 career appearances. This is number 398 in his career. Mark Zipczynski.
That's longevity. You like to see that.
Well, he's not done yet either. He'll pitch for a while.
I mean, with a name like that, you got to stick around. I mean, because you'll always be a trivia contest. How do you spell my name? It's Zap.
Forget the R.
Yeah, just Zap. Have to have broad shoulders too to have a name like that.
Well, he will be a free agent at the end of the year. He'll be 31 later this month, so still a fairly young man. I think he'll pitch for a while yet.
Well, you know, I know it's been said many times, but I think worth repeating, because the great late Sparky Anderson said, "If he's left-handed and breathing, I'll take him." So
yep.
I mean, really, you can say all you want, especially if you're lefty. I was saying, there's plenty of left-handed pitchers, but I think in reality, you don't see that many. I mean, we see a whole staff where 12 pitchers, only 1 lefty out of the bullpen, and that's it.
Yeah, I would not say there's a lot of lefties.
I agree. But they dispute that theory. But Cleveland Crockett was the only one.
Yep, that's right. So there's another strikeout. Zipczynski gets the A's their 11th strikeout.
One of the highlights of Friday night at the Coliseum. You're about ready to read it right now.
Indeed. It's the A's post-game live. It's the 18th. That's Vince on the left. That's Ken on the right. And they will join Ray and myself. We're going to have an unscripted roundtable discussion about tonight's game. Vinny's happy. Ken's not. It's only on A's post-game live at 95.7, the game after the game. Vinny's happy. Ken's not. We're happy. Keep some skin on the 18.
Yeah. I mean, we can't wait for the 18.
We'll figure something. We'll have an unscripted roundtable. See, look, Vinny's happy, Ken's not.
But see, they'd have to have long arms to high five.
Look at, see, look, Ken's blowing them off. Yeah. We're better at high fiving than they are. Now, we always have a good time with the 18. Watch this, Rick. Big league. Yeah, see?
It's like a dead fish with Korak.
See, now they're going to be mad at us. They get mad at us when we do stuff like that.
But we weren't talking about inside the park home runs.
You know, they're going to be mad at us.
It's fine, no? You know what? Vinny is the host of those, you know.
Yes,
so
he's the guy.
See, he's thinking right now, what the heck are we going to talk about, man? I mean, this is a
I haven't
blowout
thought
from the
one
beginning.
time about that. Have you?
I haven't either. Never. No, I don't worry about it.
Not concerned.
As long as he remembers our names.
We'll have fun with it. Tap slowly toward first. Alonso has it. Dexter Fowler's out. So 2 away here in the top of the 9th inning.
Hey, what a job by the A's bullpen. That's what we can talk about.
Yeah. I agree. Triggs,
17,
2 innings, 1 hit, 3
Chris Bryant.
strikeouts. Colomb, 3 innings, no hits, and 4 strikeouts. So there is a positive tonight, and that's
Absolutely.
it.
That girl behind home plate's happy. See her bouncing around back. See the Cubs uniform.
That's all right.
She's happy. I'm at the park. I mean, see, she's a diamond level. She's gotten to eat everything she wanted to tonight. So who knows how happy she is.
You may be happy that she's still awake. Allowed to still be awake. Dave Stagnero on the right. He's hanging in there.
Now, is he on a camera up there? I mean, you think he can enjoy his night without thinking about, well, if I was sitting there, I would be putting the camera angle here.
He's thinking about it right now.
Thinking about it. Bark at the park, because normally he has his dog here.
And that one is reached for, poked into right center field, and Chris Bryant has his 2nd hit. So Bryant 2 for 4 with a couple of singles and a walk.
Not surprised reaching again as he did earlier when he struck out on the breaking ball from Andrew Triggs, a ball that was running away from him. But this one he's able to serve out into right center.
So that'll bring up Rizzo, who has singled and scored. He's hit a fly ball to right field and has struck out twice. Inside.
And there's a perfect example. Tonight he's seen now 3 lefties. Overton, Coulomb, and now Zipsinski. And he struck out with Triggs.
But look at where he stands right. I mean, I don't know that I've seen a hitter stand as close to home plate as he does. And I think he leads all of Major League Baseball in hit by pitches. No, I take that back. He's 4th. 14 times he's been hit by a pitch. Geyer leads everybody. Yeah. But boy, look at that.
Yeah, that's close.
That's his front leg, and he's got a little bit of an open stance. His back leg is very close to home plate, so he sits right on top of it.
I wonder if that's his stance when the wind blows out at Wrigley.
Open up a little bit. He was originally with the San Diego Padres. He was traded for Andrew Cashner.
Yeah. Did he go to Miami?
Yep. Now Miami. Ladendorf has it. Spins. Throws to first. Got him. What a play by Tyler Ladendorf.
Been all over the place tonight.
He ended up right next to the seats down the first base line. Terrific play by Ladendorf to end the top of the 9th inning.
John Lester, formerly with the Athletics, the Boston Red Sox, now with the Chicago Cubs, and he was outstanding early. Gave up just 1 hit through the first 5 innings, would strike out 8, and he did it very, very well. Used all his pitches, good fastball outside. He had a cut fastball used, slider inside. Speed up the bat with a slider in, and as he did with Billy Butler, threw him a fastball, threw it by him. And John Lester dealing again tonight. Understand why the Cubs are very happy to have him in the rotation. And the last strikeout was the one that exited the game.
First baseman, number 17, Eibner.
So 7-2. It's the bottom of the 9th inning. New pitcher for the Cubs, and he's a new Cub. Does he look familiar? It's Joe Smith.
Talking about being happy.
Yeah, that's true.
Say Joe Smith is happy. Free agent after this year, so the Angels decided to part ways with the pitcher they gave a 3-year contract to as a setup reliever. So now a member of the Chicago Cubs.
And the Cubs added Joe Smith, Aroldis Chapman, and Mike Montgomery, a left-hander from the Mariners. Montgomery trade happened a little bit ago. That was a strike. All right, it's 1-2.
Oh man.
Alonso hitting for the first time. Must be this 3rd spot in the order.
That's right.
On the ground, Zobrist comes in. And that's the first down. Yonder Alonso, not a happy camper. So he has a few choice words for Mike Estabrook.
Now batting left fielder, number 2, Chris Davis.
I always wondered if an umpire, guys are barking at him a little bit, as if, are they thinking, am I having a tough night? Maybe I am. Because I think they know if a lot of guys are arguing, maybe it's, hey,
You know, the only way
it's not a criticism. It's some, sometimes the umpire maybe just has not doing a great job calling balls and strike. I think they know it. Rizzo with all that ground to cover. He's not used to it, but he takes care of it.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I want to ask Matt Weiss tomorrow, because I'm going to say, Matt, did you give him the DVD? And ask him tomorrow, did you look at it? Then we'll know if he thought he had a bad night or not.
I hope he looks at it.
I think that every time, I think they all believe that they're perfect.
Well, I hope that's not the case.
I agree.
I would want to know if I was an umpire. I would be like, they were arguing. Let me check it. I want to take a quick look at it. I may not look at the whole game.
But they're supposed to know, because they're supposed to get a DVD about every game with the umpire behind the plate. And they have every pitch critiqued as far as strike or no strike. Now, what we've been told is that they can go a ball off the plate away, in and out. Now, I don't know about up and down, and that's why a lot of times you need to know the umpire. What's his strike zone? You need to know as a hitter and definitely as a pitcher. And maybe going in tonight, because the umpires are not just strictly American National League umpires. They're umpires for both leagues, and they're all over. So it does make a difference. And maybe in the case of John Lester tonight, maybe Estabrook liked the low strike because he got several pitches calling that area that seemed like they were low.
3-1 now to Butler. Butler has grounded out, struck out, and hit a fly ball to left field. Rolled foul back to the on-deck circle. So now a full count. He's down to the final strike. So Cubs fans enjoying this one. 3-2 pitch. Rolled foul again. Healy actually grabbed it in the on-deck circle. fouled that one off his foot. It rolls all the way past Ron Washington down toward the bullpen.
Sinker, and usually this is going to happen off the top of the foot. The protection just not extended over the toe.
Another 3-2 pitch is low, and Butler takes the walk. Fouled off a handful of pitches and ends up getting the walk, and that's the first walk of the night by the Cubs pitchers. And they'll get Ryan Healy at bat.
48.
He's 1 for 3 tonight with a single in the 7th inning. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for Game 2 of the series. Again, we're going to celebrate 1981 with Billy Ball. That's the giveaway here at the ballpark. Billy Ball t-shirt. These will wear the uniforms from 1981. So will the Cubs. That one is belted to left field, but right at Bryant. Bryant reaches up and he makes the catch, and that's the ball game. So the Cubs take Game 1 of this 3-game series here tonight at the Coliseum.